In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times you have offended you. Continue to guide and protect us, Lord. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that we may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with prayer and intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اللهم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. اللهم وحد صفوفنا بين المسلمين والنصارى واللوماد إلى صراطك المستقيم. اللهم امنحهم العيش بالأمن والسلامة والتنمية المستدامة في مدينة دافاو. اللهم لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amoy nen manama kami gimot tolangon, manotod kakaroson no, si koikaw kami dokul tolangon, way migtumpi to tano, si koikaw kami bohoy to kaupianan tolangon na maoto, pusako kapusung no, kana akong to pabulos koy, o agbuyo koikaw, way bohoy kat pabur, kahalaan, kalinaw, to kanami, no pag-ugpo, way kasabok kakoy, oyot kalambu. Kay kuro tamana kakodin panubad way pag-ampo, kaupianan igboy no, way kakoy kong ingono, way kahalaan ko lang.
Bisa ang electric fan bit.
Okay, everyone, it seems na wala ba kayong MC, Mclin?
Meron po, Doc.
Okay, sige, hindi ko kasi narinig. Sige, sige. Okay, anyway, so good afternoon, everyone, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, and valued participants. It is my pleasure to welcome you in this pivotal public seminar for our Doctor of Business Administration candidates, so Mr. Mclin, Jhon M. Mabalot, Ms. Maria Concepcion C. Sudaria, and Mr. Reil S. Romero. I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to these candidates for reaching this significant milestone in their academic journeys. The purpose of today's public seminar is to provide a platform for these scholars to refine their research paper and gain valuable insights that will aid them in their pursuit of the degree. For those unfamiliar with the process, our candidates have diligently completed their academic coursework, submitted their concept papers, and now are standing before us in this public seminar. This step precedes the proposal defense, data gathering, and ultimately the final defense leading to the completion of their degrees. The public seminar is a vital component of the School of Business and Governance graduate programs, representing an opportunity for collaborative learning and constructive feedback. I am grateful for your presence and your willingness to contribute to the candidates' development. I would like to express special gratitude to their advisor, Dr. Marvin M. Cruz, for his unwavering guidance and support. I also extend my thanks to our industry guests, field experts, faculty, administrators, and students participants. Through your comments, suggestions, and questions, we hope to foster rich dialogue that will be beneficial to all. Thank you once again for being part of this enriching activity, and I look forward to an afternoon with engaging discussions and mutual learning. Good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lady Margaret, for those very welcoming remarks. And now, for us to be guided in this program, let me remind you of the following house rules for online public seminar. This seminar will be recorded for documentation purposes. By participating, you consent to being recorded. To minimize background noise, please keep your microphone muted unless you are speaking. The chat feature is available for questions and comments. Please refrain from off-topic discussions to keep the focus on the seminar. If you would like to ask a question or make a comment, please use the raise hand feature. This will help us manage the flow of conversation. Each presenter will have a designated time for the presentation, followed by a Q&A session. Please keep your questions brief to allow time for everyone. Please try to minimize distractions in your environment to maintain focus during the presentation. Please stay engaged and attentive during the presentation to make most of this experience. If you have additional questions after the seminar, feel free to reach out via email or contact the presenters through text or call on the email addresses and mobile numbers provided in the invitation. And lastly, this is a collaborative learning opportunity. Embrace the chance to learn from each other. At this juncture, allow me to present to you our first presenter, Mr. Mclin Jhon and Mabalot. Let us welcome him with a virtual clap, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? So again, as mentioned, this is Mclin Jhon and Mabalot, a candidate for Doctor in Business Administration, and I am here to present to you my proposed study entitled The Determinants of Customer Loyalty in the Telecommunications Industry of the Concepcion region amidst mobile number portability. So by the end of my presentation, I would be very welcoming for your queries and questions in relation to my subject. So to start with, let me introduce to you my topic. So the telecommunication services are essential in the 21st century, significantly impacting various aspects of life, including personal communication, healthcare, education, politics, industrial growth, the economy, and globalization. Now, with the absence of the telecommunication services, it would have a drastic alteration in our modern life as it facilitates decision-making, organization, influence, and relationship building. Further, the telecommunications industry has transformed significantly due to privatization, convergence, deregulation, and technological advancements, resulting in better communication and job opportunities. On the other hand, increased competition and globalization have made customer loyalty essential for businesses to remain profitable and maintain a stable subscriber base, emphasizing its importance for organizational performance. Now, according to various studies, customer loyalty is crucial for business survival and growth in the global market, as understanding and meeting customer needs significantly influences profitability and development. In the telecommunications industry, various determinants of customer loyalty identified by various scholars, including customer satisfaction, service quality, value, trust, switching cost, and brand image. On the other hand, some researchers argue that satisfaction does not always lead to loyalty. Additionally, demographic factors such as age, gender, length of relationship, location, and customer knowledge can influence loyalty. In this regard, the telecommunication service providers must implement diverse strategies to meet customer needs and maintain loyalty amidst changing demands and technological advancements. One of these technological advancements is the mobile number portability. Introduced in Singapore in 1997, the mobile number portability has revolutionized the telecommunications industry by enabling customers to switch providers while keeping their phone numbers. This leads to increased competition, reduced in switching costs, and improved promotional efforts from telecommunications service providers. For instance, in Ghana, the mobile number portability has increased competition among telecommunication companies wherein many subscribers are dissatisfied with the service quality of their current providers. This leads for them to switch to another and stay with it due to satisfaction. While those who stayed, although dissatisfied, are due to the time and effort required for the switching process. Conversely, in South Korea, the mobile number portability has spurred aggressive marketing efforts among telecommunications network providers to retain and attract customers. In the Philippines, the telecommunications industry is less saturated and competitive compared to countries like Korea, China, and Taiwan. Although it contributes 4.3% to the nation's gross domestic product, it is still among the industries of the country with the lowest growth rates. In addition to that, the telecommunications industry of the Philippines is primarily dominated by smart communications and Globe Telecom. But competition has increased since the government allowed new entrants such as Dito Telecommunity and Now Telecom to enter the market in 2017. On the other hand, the government being consistent to promote meaningful competition among telecommunications network providers, the mobile number portability or the Senate Bill number 1237 was passed by the Philippine Senate and was signed into law by the former President Rodrigo Rua Duterte in 2019 as Republic Act number 11202. Conversely, the proposed study will focus on Region 12, also known as the Soxargen region, considering that, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority, the region has an economic growth rate of 3.5%, which is significantly lower than the national growth rate by 2%, and that of its neighboring regions, Region 11 or the Davao region, and the Region 10 or the Northern Mindanao region, by 3.2% and 1.8% respectively. Also, the region contributes only 2% to the country's service sector, including telecommunications. Furthermore, the information and communications industry in the region accounts for 5.69% of its economy, which is higher than Region 10 by 2.645%, and lower than Region 11 by only 0.11%, but is also 1.39% above the national average for this industry, which is only 4.3% as illustrated on the screen. Now, considering the discussions, the study aims to look for answers to the following questions. First, what is the demographic profile of the respondents as to their age, gender, length of subscription with their mobile telecommunications network providers and their area of residence in the Soxargen region? Second, what is the level of satisfaction of the respondents to a mobile telecommunications network provider in the Soxargen region? Third, what is the level of importance given by the respondents to a mobile telecommunications network provider in the Soxargen region towards their service quality, value, trust, switching costs, and brand image? Fourth, what is the level of agreement of the respondents towards their loyalty to a mobile telecommunications network provider in the Soxargen region? Fifth, what is the level of awareness of the respondents towards mobile number portability? Sixth, is there a significant relationship between service quality, value, trust, switching costs, brand image, and customer loyalty in the telecommunications industry of the Soxagen region? And for 7, does each of the mentioned variables significantly influence the loyalty of the respondents? 8, asking which of these variables has the highest influence towards the loyalty of the respondents. Further, the proposed study also aims to answer how does the demographic profile, satisfaction and awareness on mobile number portability of the respondents moderates the relationship between service quality, value, trust, switching costs, brand image, and customer loyalty. Furthermore, the proposed study also aims to find out if there is a significant difference on the loyalty of the respondents as to their demographic profiles such as age, gender, length of subscription, and area of residence. With these questions intended to be answered, the following are the hypotheses of the study. First, there is no significant relationship between service quality, value, trust, switching costs, brand image, and customer loyalty. Second, there is no significant influence between service quality, value, trust, switching costs, brand image, and customer loyalty. Third, age, gender, length of subscription, area of residence, customer satisfaction, and awareness on mobile number portability does not moderate the relationship between service quality, value, trust, switching costs, brand image, and customer loyalty of the respondents. And lastly, there is no significant difference in the loyalty of the respondents as to their age, gender, length of subscription, and area of residence. To further illuminate the purpose of this study, in the conduct of the literature review, it was noted by Lopez and others 2012, Gensolian and others 1995, Kaur and others 2018, as well as Shen and others 2008, that the telecommunication service is essential for economic development as it enhances communication, boosts productivity, and supports new business models, particularly in rural areas, while also contributing to the national and information security. Karunaratne and others 2017, as well as Rorianto and others 2021, further added that technological advancements are reshaping the mobile telecommunications industry by creating switching barriers for service providers, enhancing user experiences, and changing consumer behavior, which requires continuous innovation from telecommunications companies. On the other hand, Lancaster 2023 stated that the mobile telecommunication industry in the Philippines has demonstrated greater efficacy than fixed-line operators in adapting to its distinctive topographical features, establishing it as the preferred mode of communication. In fact, the subscribers to a mobile telecommunications network provider was also expected to be 179.977 million with 157.9% penetration rate, and is further expected to grow up to 183.600 million with 161% penetration rate, signifying the impact of the industry to communication, as claimed by Buhin and others 2010, Campbell and others 2008, as well as Ishii 2006. Likewise, the literature had various definitions of customer loyalty, such that as worded by Hermawan and others 2020, and Nayani and others 2022, customer loyalty is a long-term commitment to a product or service characterized by repeat purchases, retention, and referrals, emphasizing its significance for future purchases and the influence of situational and marketing factors. For the demographic variables such as age, Deng and others 2010, as well as Chachon and others 2016, mentioned that younger customers are more price sensitive and willing to switch providers for better value, and older customers exhibiting greater loyalty. For gender, Zheng and others 2019, Ivanskitsky and others 2006, as well as Kan and others 2016, mentioned that female customers value emotional connections and positive word of mouth, while male customers prioritize functional attributes and show less loyalty. For length of subscription, Deng and others 2010, Sheikh and others 2018, as well as Xiao and others 2008 mentioned that with longer relationships leads to a stronger loyalty and trust. For area of residence, Moisesco 2018, Gregorio and others 2018, as well as Leong and others 2022 mentioned that customer perceptions of service quality and their intentions to change service providers are influenced by contextual factors such as urban versus rural residents, with urban customers having higher expectations and prioritizing different service quality dimensions compared to rural customers. For customer satisfaction, Jerpot and others 2001, Shazad and others 2021, as well as Deng and others 2010, mentioned that satisfaction is essential for fostering loyalty, which impacts decisions about renewing or terminating contracts with mobile network operators. This emphasizes that higher customer satisfaction leads to positive attitudes towards service providers and predicting loyalty. For the awareness on mobile number portability, Nimaco and others 2014 mentioned that increasing awareness of mobile number portability can reduce perceived risks of switching providers, particularly in developing countries, thereby encouraging consumer switching and promoting a more competitive market. Now, considering the discussions, the following are the gaps identified in the study. First is the theoretical gap. There is a need for a study that integrates various theories related to customer loyalty, such as the expectation confirmation theory, the transaction cost theory, the served qual theory, the theory of recent action, the theory of planned behavior, the four-stage loyalty model, the American Customer Satisfaction Index, the technology acceptance model, as well as the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology. Second, a population gap were identified wherein it was identified that there is a lack of research on customer loyalty in the telecommunications industry, particularly regarding the mobile number portability in developing countries, and calls for more studies in countries like the Philippines. Third, empirical gap was also identified wherein the literature on the Philippine telecommunications industry is limited in its analysis of new competitors like the Dito Telecommunity and their effects on the existing duopoly of smart communications and Globe Telecom. Fourth, a methodological gap, evidence gap, and knowledge gap were further identified, wherein most studies primarily focus on customer satisfaction as a mediating variable in the relationships between loyalty and its determinants. Further, satisfaction may not always mediate relationships leading to loyalty, indicating a need for further research to explore its potential role as a moderating variable instead. For the sixth one, another population and empirical gap was also identified. With that, the study seeks to explore the relationships between service quality, value, trust, switching costs, brand image, and customer loyalty within the Philippine telecommunications market, focusing on the Concepcion region while considering demographic profiles, customer satisfaction, and awareness of mobile number portability as moderating factors. With that, the objectives of the study are as follows. First is to identify whether the relationship exists between service quality, value, trust, switching cost, brand image, and customer loyalty in the telecommunications industry of the Concepcion region, and which of this has the highest influence towards the same. On the other hand, the study also aims to identify whether these relationships can be moderated by the subscriber's age, gender, length of subscription, the area of their residence, satisfaction, and awareness on mobile number portability. And further, the study also aims to identify whether the level of customer loyalty differs when respondents are grouped according to their age, gender, length of subscription, and area of residence. Now, the proposed study, on the other hand, intends to use the following methods. The first is for its design. The study intends to use the quantitative descriptive correlational design, combining the descriptive and inferential statistical techniques. The descriptive method will describe the demographic profile of the respondents, including their age, gender, length of subscription, and area of residence. It will also measure the importance given by the respondents to service quality, value, trust, switching costs, and brand image. The descriptive method will also determine the levels of loyalty and its difference towards the demographic variables, the level of satisfaction, and the level of awareness on mobile number portability of the respondents. On the other hand, the correlational method will determine the relationship between service quality, value, trust, switching cost, and brand image as independent variables and customer loyalty as the dependent variable. It will also determine the moderating effect of demographic profiles, customer satisfaction, and awareness on mobile number portability. For the respondents, it will be composed of at most 500 individuals who are current prepaid subscribers of a mobile telecommunications network provider. Specifically, these respondents belongs to the generational age of Y, also known as the millennials, and Z, also known as the Gen Zs, who are born from 1981 to 1996 and 1997 to 2012 respectively, as defined by the MOC 2019, who are at least 18 years old. Now, the sampling technique to gather relevant data from the respondents would adhere to the principles and procedures of a cluster sampling technique. The respondents will be clustered according to their area of residence as to their province or city. The technique will then be followed by a simple random technique to randomly select which provinces or city in the Concepcion region will be included for the actual data gathering. And then the random selection of the clusters will be administered through an online platform called Wheel of Names, which is similar to the image shown in the screen, to electronically identify which of the provinces and the chartered city will be used in the study. Then the study will employ purposive sampling to purposely select qualified respondents for the study. It will also use proportionate sampling technique to identify the minimum number of respondents per randomly selected province or city. For the data collection methods, the researcher will construct a researcher-made survey questionnaire, which will be administered both physically by visiting the randomly selected areas of the region and electronically through online platforms such as Google Forms and electronic mails. The questionnaire will include a consent for the respondents and an assurance of data privacy and security. In addition, to ensure that the questionnaire will reach its intended audience, the researcher will utilize a paid feature or the sponsorships feature of the social media platform, which is Facebook, and its instant messaging platform, that is the Messenger. And for the data analysis technique, the study will employ descriptive statistics, including frequency and percentage, to measure out the demographics of the respondents. Mean will also be used to measure the level of importance the respondents give towards the independent variables, their level of satisfaction, their level of awareness towards mobile number portability, and the level of loyalty they have with their mobile telecommunications network provider. One-way analysis of variance or ANOVA will also be utilized in order to determine the significant differences among the respondents in consideration of their demographics. Inferential statistics such as Pearson R correlation will also be used in order to identify whether significant relationships exist between the variables used in the study. A multiple regression analysis will also be administered in order to identify a model that will explain, if not predict, the loyalty of the subscribers in a mobile telecommunications network provider, while the macro process by Hayes 2018 will be used for the moderation analysis in the study. Moreover, the following are the expected outcomes of this proposed study. First, there are indeed positive significant relationships between the variables in the telecommunications industry of the Concepcion region. Second, service quality will be the most influential variable to customer loyalty in the telecommunications industry in the Concepcion region. Additionally, it can also be expected that the demographics of the respondents, notably their area of residence, would moderate the relationship between the variables, most especially of their service quality. And fourth, the results of the study would contribute to the body of knowledge in terms of its theoretical implications, as it would further affirm the stipulations of the theories previously mentioned, or it may also negate these theories based on the demographics and distinct characteristics of the respondents. Now, upon the approval of the study, the following activities are identified to be significant. First is the validity and reliability testing of the survey questionnaire, which is intended to last for 5 days, hosting and reproduction of the survey questionnaire for 3 days, and administration of the survey questionnaire for 30 days. After that, an analysis and interpretation of the results for 3 days, then the presentation of results foreseen to last for a day, thus having a total of 42 days. Now, with these discussions, considering the presented research gaps, it can be concluded that indeed a study is needed to find out the relationships between the independent and dependent variables in the telecommunications industry of the Soxygen region, and which of this greatly influences the loyalty of the millennial and Gen Z subscribers in the mentioned locale. It can also be concluded that it is important to look into the demographic profile of these subscribers and examine how these factors moderates the relationships between the variables together with their satisfaction and awareness towards mobile number portability. Finally, the need to look into the difference to their loyalty as when the respondents are grouped according to their demographic profiles was also seen to be relevant. So that ends my presentation. So if you have any further clarifications or queries as to my topic, you may now ask them. Thank you.
At this moment, we are now going to start with our open forum. You may use the raise hand feature for your questions, or you may have your questions in the chat section. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon,
Yes, Doc Marvin, go ahead po.
Doc Lady. I am the advisor of this particular candidate, but you know, uh, as advisor, I also play the role of a devil's advocate. So I'd like to ask my dissertation advisee, Mclin. Your study has MNP as the main landscape, no? Right, Mclin?
Yes, po, Doc.
So my question is, what novelty can your study offer to academic discussions or even practical applications? Can you tell us?
As presented po kanina po, Doc, on my slides, one of the novelty po that the study can contribute is the mere fact that the use of the variable MNP, or the mobile number portability, since it is just new in our country, it was just implemented, put into law in the year 2019 and was implemented actually by the year 2020, and the operations of the mobile number portability did not start until 2021. Aside from that po, I had also presented theoretical contributions of the study as to using several theories related to customer loyalty as one in the study, since majority of the literatures had used these theories separately and not together po. And in addition to that, one more is on its contribution since its practical contribution on the field or in the industry of telecommunications industry, since previous studies only look into smart communications and globe telecom, and none of these studies, I mean, haven't looked into the new entrants in the industry, such as Dito Telecommunity and Now Telecom. Now, if you may be wondering why I only included Dito Telecommunity, even if or although that Now Telecom was also introduced in the year 2017, I've only included Dito Telecommunity since Dito Telecommunity is the only new entrant that is available in the region. Now Telecom is not available, still not available in the region itself. So that's it po, Doc. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mclin. I will have some more questions, but I would like to give way to others who may have some questions. Doc Lady, thank you.
Thank you, Doc Marvs. Mclin, I have a few questions on my own. So first po is, you mentioned kanina that the reason why you chose Soxargen is because it has the lowest, ano nga yung lowest? Can you show the statistics? Lowest siya sa, parang yung kanina, yung may area. Or maybe you can expound why Soxargen yung ating market, yung ating respondent or focus.
Yes po, Doc. Good afternoon. So I've chosen Soxargen first. I'm from Soxargen. But aside from that po, it was mentioned in the statistics that out of its two neighboring regions, mainly the Region 10 or the Northern Mindanao region, as well as the Region 11, which is the Davao region, the Soxargen region has one of the highest percentage on its contribution on the information and communications industry. It's one of the regions which has the highest percentage of having this industry. And in fact, it is also 1.39% higher than the national average in the industry, which is only 4.3%. Although that the Davao region, which is higher compared to which is higher compared to the Soxargen region, its difference is only 0.11%. So I've chosen the region aside from the fact that I am from Soxargen region, but as to what the statistics had shown, that is it is one of the regions with the highest contributions on the information and communication industry, where the telecommunications sector belongs to.
Anong klaseng contribution yung ibig sabihin, Mclin?
Doc?
Ano meaning ng contribution as you mentioned? Anong
Contribution po sa region, Doc.
Meaning, maraming communications industry doon?
Doc?
Maraming communications na businesses, you mean?
Maraming po, Doc, maraming users po ng telco. At the same time po, marami rin po yung contributions ng industry as to different factors such as business, communication, education, and many more po, Doc. The industry is integrated and used in other industries po, Doc.
Okay, so with that one, I am wondering kung bakit walang now na telecom tsaka dun sa area if it's one of the contributors. Why do you think so?
With that po, Doc, honestly, I haven't looked into why now didn't decided to have their operations here in the region. But as to my own personal point of view, I believe it's on the matter of the requirements as to the satellites and whatnot. But I'm not really quite sure about that, Doc. I think I have to look into deeper for that with that, Doc.
Sige, perhaps you can add that one in your RL kasi parang it's somewhat a research gap na kung kasali siya sa one of the contributors to the industry, how come hindi lahat ng participants ng industry andun sa kanya? So maybe it's there's something na yun nga, regulatory, maybe there's something different dun sa area that maybe contributory to the reason bakit hindi lahat present. Now, my next question is, if I may, kasi hindi ko mahanap yung raise hand button, no? Anyhow, I have a question as to can you please explain to us, especially for those who are not familiar, ano pala yung government act that was given? What does it mean? Yung
The mobile number portability po, Doc.
Yes. Can you give us a background of ano ang laman yan? What is it about?
The Mobile Number Portability Act po, Doc, or the Republic Act number 11202, it merely allows the user to retain their numbers if whenever they wanted to change their network providers. So they will not have anymore the hard time of informing others that I have my new number because I shifted to another telco provider. But then again, the stipulations or the regulations of the Republic Act number 11202 has its guidelines on when a subscriber can be eligible for the porting and when the subscriber will not be eligible for the porting. For example, one of its requirements is that you should have an active number, mobile number. It should not be deactivated anymore. When we say deactivated, well, basically hindi mo na siya magagamit. That's one. You should have an active number. Number two, if you are going to port it from postpaid to prepaid, you should not have any balances from your postpaid account going to prepaid. If ever you still have a balance, you need to settle that one. Then the telco providers po kasi, Doc, are giving prorated charges. So it does not mean that you already paid the certain amount needed for you to end the contract if you are postpaid. That's the end of it. Some of them still have prorated charges wherein you will be still allowed to port from one network provider to another, but you will be given 60 days to pay the remaining prorated charges from your previous telco provider. Then after that one, you should not have used the number for any illegal acts. And another one, if you had successfully ported your number from one telco to another, you can still port it again, but you can do that one only after 60 days. So if you had ported your number, you cannot port it again for the first 60 days. Only after only after 2 months or 60 days that you can be eligible again for porting. Ayun po daw.
Okay, so with that one, so parang ang lumalabas, we can carry our numbers, we don't need certain network, no? So bakit kailangan natin pag-aralan siya if the impact is not on the holders of the number but on the network? Why is the study still important when it's like ang maglalaban dito are the network and because it will not affect the person anymore?
Actually, Doc, according to the literatures I've read, I believe it was Aydin and Ozer 2005 who also conducted the same study in Turkey. They mentioned that customer loyalty is one of the many important factors for telecommunications providers for them to be able to have to retain their subscriber base. Now, if or although that the respondents, although that the people are not that into well, they are not entirely affected of that one. The concern would be in the presence of the mobile number portability, wherein they have now the option to shift from one network or switch from one network to another. In considering that they can still retain their number, would they still be using the services and products of their current telco provider, or would they actually switch to another telco provider? Hence, asking the questions, would they be loyal to that current telco provider, considering that the definition of customer loyalty as far as the literature is concerned is on the repurchase, is on the buying, as well as the recommendation of a certain individual to another with respect to the subscriber na ginagamit niya po, Doc.
Okay, so if wala pang magtatanong, can you show us your framework? Do you have a copy of it?
Theoretical, conceptual po,
The
Doc.
conceptual, yes.
I haven't included po sa
Sige.
slide.
Eto na lang, no? Doon na lang sa respondents mo, you mentioned there, it will be Gen Z, millennials. This one, right? So
Yes.
my first question on this one is, what happens if the respondent has more than one current network?
Sorry.
Sige, go ahead.
As far as the study is concerned po, Doc, it would not matter po if they have two or more than one SIM cards, since I will be asking po them if, kasi considering po the reality that we have separate numbers for work and we have separate numbers for our personal lives. Now, the concern po with that is for example, in our work number, and that we aim or we plan to switch to another network, we will not have a hard time anymore in changing and informing our coworkers, similarly with our loved ones, if ever we change network, since through MNP or the mobile number portability, we can retain our number as is. It's just that we are using different networks. So as I see it, I did not see that the number of SIM or the number of network providers that the respondent or the user is engaged into is relevant po.
So you will not be asking that question?
I will not po.
Okay, kasi yung next ko na question on this one is, why did you choose the prepaid subscribers instead of both postpaid and prepaid? Kasi if you're going to look at it, merong loyalty yung postpaid subscribers compared to the prepaid because you just buy the same, right? But when you have a postpaid plan, meron kang some degree of loyalty. What do you think?
I've only included the prepaid po, Doc. Number one reason, I am hesitant to ask the data from the telco provider, since it would in my point of view, it would violate the Data Privacy Act of 2012. So most probably the telco providers will not provide me any data as to their postpaid subscribers. in comparison to the prepaid subscribers, well, they are just there around. Kahit saan po may prepaid subscribers naman. As to your comment po a while ago that postpaid subscribers may still have some degree of customer loyalty. But then again po, with the presence of mobile number portability, even postpaid subscribers can actually port their numbers going to prepaid. So, ayun po, Doc.
Sige. Anyone else who would like to ask a question? Okay, you have several. Maybe we can start with Mr. Philbert. Go ahead.
Oh yes, hi. Hi, good afternoon, Doc Lady. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Mclin. Mclin, my question is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ano nga ba yung areas ng target areas mo? Ito bang Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, South Cotabato, General Santos, and Sarangani, ano?
Sir?
Ano nga ba yung areas mo na yung tinitingnan mo as sa mga respondents?
The Soxogen area po, sir.
Okay. Sige. And you have 500 respondents, Mclin, ano?
Yes po, sir. I've explained po a while ago that since this is just a proposal, the sample frame or the sampling frame will include all of the provinces of the region. But within the region, there is one chartered city, that is the General Santos City. That is why in my presentation a while ago, I've mentioned that the provinces or city will be randomly selected through the Wheel of Names, an online platform as presented po dito sa screen, for me to be able to randomly select them po. But as of now, the sample frame includes all of the provinces of the region, including the one chartered city, that is General Santos City po.
Okay, sige. My next question
But
is,
if ever po that the proposal will be hopefully approved. Ayan. The areas wherein the study will be administered will be identified randomly considering po the available provinces and the chartered city, that is the General Santos City po. So kung ano po
Okay.
yung lalabas randomly, ayun po yung masasali sa study po.
sige. Yung paano mo i-spread out yung yung 500 respondents, anong gagamitin mo?
I've mentioned po kanina, sir, and presented po dito sa screen that I will be using po proportionate sampling. So I will be distributing the 500 respondents proportionately on the randomly selected and identified provinces or regions po, provinces or city po later on if they will be selected na po.
Okay.
Proportionate
Thank you,
sampling po.
Mclin. Thank you sa
Sir?
clarifications. Salamat.
Sige po, sir. Thank
Congrats.
you.
Okay, Mclin, maybe we can, Sir Jerry Francisco, go ahead po.
Hello, Sir Mclin. Good afternoon. I am Jerry Francisco, students under Doc Marvin. Our subject is advanced statistics. So I just have about two questions in mind. First is, how could the findings of this study potentially influence marketing strategies for telecommunication companies in Soxargen region? For example, if meron na bang dito telecom sa Soxargen, parang mahina pa ata, no? So I think Smart, Globe are the one known sa Soxargen area. So what are the practical applications ng research na magamit supposedly kung ako yung marketing head ng Dito Telecom na I want to compete with these big telecom companies like Smart and Globe. Paano ko magamit yung study mo? That's the first question.
Okay, sir. Thank you. For that po, I think we will agree that the study would actually give certain point of view as to how the telecommunication service providers in the region would actually contribute, if not improve, their services. Now, as to what marketing strategy would that be, and in consideration po of the respondents of the study that will be the millennials and Gen Zs, the telecommunication service providers can actually what do you call this? Yung para siyang for them alone yung kanila para siyang specialized for them yung kanilang strategy as to how they can be able to attract and retain their millennial and Gen Z subscribers. Now, as to your follow-up question, if you were the marketing director of Dito Telecommunity, honestly, I've been doing random interviews in Dito Telecommunity offices. And not the office itself, but as to their experience store. And I've asked them actually, why is that na konti pa lang yung coverage area nila dito sa Socsargen? Well, yung answer lang po is they are still on the process of adding their coverage areas, since as I've checked in the literature, and it was also confirmed by one of the managers in an experienced store that I have visited. Their operations started only 3 years ago. So they are still on the process daw po, sir, on adding some more satellites to enhance their coverage area. But as to the availability of dito in the Socsargen region, available na po, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Well said. Another question is, what challenges do you anticipate in administering surveys in the Socsargen region? How could this be mitigated?
Number one, the time frame po. That's
Okay.
it po, the time frame. Number two, the different locations po of the provinces and the chartered city. On my end, I have minimal capability to reach out other areas, and because that's the limitation of the study. And because of that, as presented in the slides a while ago, I will be administering the survey questionnaires in two ways. First is to administer it through online surveys or through Google Forms, and by sending it to emails or messengers. And given that we cannot deny that hindi naman po lahat merong access on or they have the free access to online platforms every time. Now, to solve that issue or that limitation, I've also, as indicated po dito sa slide, I've also decided to have the physical and actual visitation po of the area to physically hand the survey questionnaires to the respondents.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Gemma Chu, you are recognized.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. I would just like, firstly, I would just like to congratulate Sir Mclin, no, for reaching this far, no. Nakakainggit din na present in a public seminar your research proposal. You've mentioned what you call this factors in your survey for the demographic profile of the respondents with regards to this study. But I just don't know if I missed this, but will you consider asking this factor that, for example, if they want to switch to another network with the retention of their old numbers, would you like to ask if they would be willing to switch networks when, in fact, even if you retain the numbers, you still have to register again your SIM when you switch networks, even if you retain the number? So would you consider this as a factor in your research?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, thank you for that. Actually, I've thought of that, but I've delimited my study on loyalty since it would have a different discussion as whether the subscriber would actually switch or stay with that telecommunications network provider, although or even though with the presence of the mobile number portability. I've I've actually considered that, ma'am, but I've decided to delimit the study as to um, their loyalty po.
Okay, thank you.
And considering po kasi the statistical analysis that I will be doing, that I will be using, sorry, it would not suffice as to whether the measurement of loyalty will actually determine their willingness to stay on that particular network provider or they would actually switch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, perhaps last question. May I request JT Punayan to clarify your question dito sa chat?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Presenter, I commend your effort for presenting this study. Jhon, I just wanted to verify. Siguro hindi ko lang masyadong nag-grasp yung presentation kanina with regard to the introduction. What particular UN SDGs or the RDGs that your study would plan to contribute?
With that po, sir, I believe it would be on communication. But honestly, I haven't looked into much deeper as to the UN SDGs or RDGs po. But I think, thank you for that. I should look into that po. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you should include that in your introduction because that is very essential.
Thank you po.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jhon.
Thank you po.
Okay, thank you everyone for your questions. No, for more
Doc Lady.
questions. Yes po, Doc
Doc
Marv, go
Lady,
ahead.
can I ask one more question?
Sige po, last question, Doc Marv.
Okay. Mclin.
Doc.
Mclin. What is your strongest justification why you'll be using multiple regression analysis?
I will be using the multiple regression analysis po, considering the number of variables that the study has. It has five independent, sorry, nag-echo ata. It has five independent variables, and with the multiple regression analysis, simultaneous analysis on the five independent variables can be done in comparison to simple linear regression that needs to be analyzed individually po.
So why not use structural equation modeling?
Um, well, honestly po, Doc, the study itself would not, in my own perspective, the study itself would not be suitable for the structural equation modeling. And aside from that po, Doc, in my honest opinion, I'm not that um what's this equipped with the technicalities of the structural equation modeling.
Eh, paano kung yun ang talagang kailangan?
I would be looking into that and considering po that, Doc, and I will do the necessary adjustments if SEM would really be required for the analysis po.
You know, I think you have to make up your mind, no? So, which way are you going? Will it be theory building? Kasi I'm, I am actually, yung point of departure ko, yung ginamit mo ng mga theories, no? And normally, yung mga theories na yan, are included if one is to deeply examine the constructs and the possible relationships with all the other variables. So normally, ang ginagamit structural equation modeling. So I'd like you to make up your mind. Will it be theory building or will it be just correlational?
To answer that, Doc, I would stick with correlational and not on theory building.
Okay, so correlational. So klaro yan ha?
Yes po.
Mclin?
Yes
Okay,
po.
sige. So, sige, thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Doc Mars. So thank you, Mr. Mclin. So hopefully you can fine-tune your paper better, no? And answer the questions. By
Yes,
the
Doc.
way, hindi mo kasi napakita, but do you have your questionnaire ba?
Yes po, Doc. I've submitted po pero hindi ko po na-include dito.
Sige lang. So for the next mga presenters, maybe you can also present the questionnaire for verification or para makita
But if you want po, Doc, I could show po.
Sige lang, Mclin, because you already have 3 o'clock na kasi, 3:09. Now, sige
Sige po.
lang, please finalize your paper and submit as soon as possible. So with this one, let's give Mr. Mclin our warm applause for his courage to face us this afternoon. Thank you, Mclin. Mr. Mclin, Jhon M. Mabalot, our candidate for Doctor of Business Administration.
Thank you po, and thank you po for your suggestions po. Thank you.
Sige. So in this juncture, we would like to call the next presenter. So she will be presenting her paper entitled Exploring the Influence of Entrepreneurial Ecosystem and Technological Adoption on the Competitiveness of Micro and Small Enterprises of Northern Mindanao, Philippines. Please help me welcome Ms. Maria Concepcion Sudaria.
Okay, good afternoon. Am I audible po, Doc?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon. Before I begin, I would like to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude first to my dissertation advisor, Dr. Marvin M. Cruz, for his invaluable guidance and mentorship. His insights and encouragement have been instrumental in shaping my research. So I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to you, Doc, Dr. Lady Margaret Kagape, for approving my research title. Thank you, Doc, and for this public seminar. To our Dean, Doc March, and to Sir Jordan and all the staffs from the School of Business and Governance, thank you so much. So at this time, it is my pleasure to share to you my dissertation proposal titled Exploring the Influence of Entrepreneurial Ecosystem and Technological Adoption on the Competitiveness of Micro and Small Enterprises in Northern Mindanao, Philippines. Allow me to share my screen.
So the background of the study. Micro and small enterprises are vital components of the global economy, significantly contributing to employment, innovation, and economic growth. These enterprises account for approximately 60 to 70% of the workforce in many regions, particularly in emerging markets, where they create about 70% of new jobs. This is according to the International Labor Organization 2023. So MSEs provide livelihoods for marginalized groups, thereby reducing poverty and enhancing social inclusion according to the United Nations Development Program 2023. Micro and small enterprises are essential to the Philippine economy, significantly contributing to employment, economic growth, and community development. So as of 2023, MSEs account for approximately 99.5% of all registered businesses in the country, generating over 65% of total employment, which translates to approximately 31.85 million jobs and contributing around 36% to the gross value added of the economy, according to the Philippine Statistics Authority 2023. This substantial presence highlights the role as a primary source of livelihood for millions of Filipinos, particularly in rural and underserved areas where larger corporations may not operate. Micro and small enterprises in the Philippines are currently facing several significant challenges that hinder their growth, sustainability, and competitiveness. So one of the primary issues is access to financing. Many MSE owners struggle to secure loans from financial institutions due to stringent requirements and a lack of collateral, which limits their ability to invest in business development and expansion. This financial obstacle is intensified by the competitive environment in which MSEs frequently compete against larger enterprises that have greater resources and a more established market presence, making it challenging to attract customers and sustain profitability and competitiveness, according to Rakesa 2024. Additionally, limited market access poses a significant challenge for many MSEs. Without the necessary networks and effective marketing strategies, small businesses struggle to reach broader markets, particularly in rural areas where access to consumers is more challenging, according to Lim and Bries 2024. Regulatory compliance is another critical challenge. The complicated context of government regulations, permits, and taxes can be discouraging for MSEs, often requiring resources that small businesses do not have. Lastly, while digital transformation offers significant opportunities, many MSEs struggle to adapt new technologies due to limited digital literacy and inadequate internet infrastructure, hindering their ability to compete in an increasingly digital marketplace, according to Cruz and Alvarado 2023. MSEs also in Northern Mindanao encounter several challenges, such as restricted access to diverse financing options, a shortage of skilled labor, and an inadequate support ecosystem. Moreover, the absence of favorable government policies, a lack of a strong entrepreneurial and innovation-driven culture, and a limited market opportunities further hinder their development. Access to finance is a critical factor for the success of MSEs in Northern Mindanao. Studies show that financial support, including loans and grants, significantly impacts the growth potential of these enterprises by Reyes and Carrion 2024. Human capital, which encompasses the skills, knowledge, and experience of the workforce, is essential for innovation and competitiveness. Research highlights that a skilled workforce can enhance productivity and drive business growth. By examining the human capital aspect of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, policymakers can implement educational and training programs that align with the needs of local MSEs by Villanueva and Torres 2023. Support systems, including mentorship, networking opportunities, and business development services, play a vital role in the success of MSEs. Literature suggests that the strong support networks can facilitate knowledge sharing and resource access, which are crucial for entrepreneurial success, by Cruz and Alvarado 2023. Government policies significantly influence the entrepreneurial ecosystem. Effective policies can create a conducive environment for MSEs by reducing bureaucratic hurdles and providing incentives. Research indicates that favorable policies can enhance the performance of MSEs, making it essential to study how existing regulations affect their operations and growth, by De La Torre and Salinas 2023. Cultural attitudes toward entrepreneurship and innovation can either foster or hinder entrepreneurial activities. Studies show that a culture that supports entrepreneurship can lead to increased business formation, sustainability, and competitiveness, by Reyes and Carrion 2024. Limited access to market opportunities arises from factors such as inadequate market information, competition from larger businesses, and insufficient marketing strategies. MSEs often struggle to find and reach potential customers, which slows their growth. And additionally, the lack of support networks and places to showcase their products makes it even harder for them to connect with buyers. Another challenge is the adoption of technology. As these enterprises grapple with the various challenges, including understanding the factors such as relative advantage, compatibility, observability, complexity, and trialability, the adoption of technology presents a promising avenue for growth, resilience, and competitiveness. Relative advantage refers to the perceived benefits that a new technology offers compared to the existing solutions. MSEs that recognize significant advantages such as increased efficiency, cost savings, or improved customer service are more likely to adopt new technologies. For instance, the introduction of digital payment systems may be viewed favorably due to faster transaction times and reduced cash handling risk, encouraging the MSEs to integrate these technologies into their operations, by Bacalso and De Guzman 2023. Compatibility assesses how well a technology aligns with the existing values, past experiences, and needs of potential adopters. MSEs in Northern Mindanao may be more inclined to adopt technologies that fit easily into their current business practices and cultural contexts. Technologies that support local languages or are designed for the specific needs of small businesses are likely to see higher adoption rates. If a technology requires significant changes to established workflows, MSEs may resist its adoption, by Matias and Hernandez 2024. Observability pertains to the visibility of the results of using a new technology. When the benefits of a technology are observable and demonstrable, it can encourage other MSEs to adopt it. In Northern Mindanao, success stories of local businesses that have effectively implemented new technologies can serve as a powerful motivators for others. For example, if an MSE successfully uses social media marketing to increase sales, other businesses may be inspired to adopt similar strategies, by Alcantara and Villanueva 2024. Complexity refers to the perceived difficulty of using a new technology. Technologies that are perceived as complex or difficult to understand may deter MSEs from adapting them. In Northern Mindanao, many MSEs have limited technical expertise, making it crucial for technology providers to offer user-friendly solutions and adequate training. Simplifying technology and providing support can help mitigate concerns about complexity and facilitate adoption by Cordero and Reyes 2023. Trialability is the extent to which a new technology can be experimented with on a limited basis before full-scale adoption. MSEs in Northern Mindanao may be more willing to adopt technologies that allow for trial periods or pilot programs. This dimension reduces perceived risk associated with adoption, as businesses can evaluate the technology's effectiveness before committing fully. For example, a software provider might offer a free trial period, allowing MSEs to assess its benefits without significant upfront investment by 2023. This research proposal focuses exclusively on micro and small enterprises due to their unique challenges within the entrepreneurial ecosystem and their approach to technological adoption. MSEs face significant hurdles in accessing finance compared to medium or large enterprises. With limited collateral and credit history, securing loans from traditional financial institutions is difficult, which hampers their ability to invest in essential technology and innovation, while medium and large enterprises generally enjoy better access to financing, benefiting from established credit histories, by Guimaraes et al. 2024. In terms of human capital, MSEs frequently lack skilled workers and adequate training resources, which limits their ability to adopt new technologies. Conversely, medium and large enterprises typically have more developed human capital, enabling them to attract and retain skilled employees with better training opportunities, by Marinelle et al. 2023. MSEs also require tailored support mechanisms such as mentorship programs and incubators. This targeted support is vital for their growth, as they often lack access to established networks. Medium enterprises, on the other hand, benefit from more extensive resources and connections, reducing the reliance on such targeted assistance, by Muya, Clementi, and others, 2023. The supported policies, including tax incentives and simplified regulations, are crucial for MSE's growth and competitiveness. While medium enterprises and large enterprises benefit from broader policy frameworks, they do not require the same level of targeted interventions that MSEs do, by Guimaraes et al. 2024. Lastly, MSEs often struggle with technological adoption due to limited resources and digital literacy, focusing on survival rather than innovation. In contrast, the medium and large enterprises generally have the capacity to invest in advanced technologies, allowing them to enhance operational efficiencies, by Cordero and Reyes 2023. Using multiple regression analytical tool, this study aspires to generate essential knowledge that can directly benefit micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao by measuring the significance and influence of various independent variables, such as elements of the entrepreneurial ecosystem and levels of technological adoption on the dependent variable of MSE competitiveness. This analytical approach will allow for a comprehensive understanding of how these factors interact and contribute to the overall performance of MSEs, providing valuable insights for stakeholders, including business owners, policymakers, and support organizations, to make informed decisions that enhance the growth and competitiveness of MSEs in the region. The research gap of the study. So despite the various studies exploring the broader entrepreneurial ecosystem, specific dimensions relevant to micro and small enterprises, such as finance, human capital, support systems, public policy, culture, and market access, remain under research. Axe and Zerb 2023 highlight how financial ecosystems are crucial for supporting entrepreneurship, but point out that we need more research on how access to finance affects micro and small enterprises specifically. Similarly, Valerie and SH 2023 discusses the role of human capital in entrepreneurial success, but note that we still don't fully understand how different aspects of human capital contribute to business outcomes. Cohen and Hochberg 2023 conducted a systematic review on incubators and accelerators, showing that these support systems can vary in effectiveness, and they call for more studies to explore their impact in different situations. In terms of public policy, Brisnick and his Rich 2023 review how government policies influence entrepreneurship, but find that we need more research on which specific policies work best for fostering entrepreneurial growth and competitiveness. Cultural factors are also important in Spiegel, as Spiegel 2023 points out that we need to study how culture affects entrepreneurship more deeply. Norman and Holtman 2023 look at market access for micro and small enterprises and stress the need for further research on how market conditions and information access impact their competitiveness. Lastly, Feldman and Zoller 2023 discuss the role of local ecosystems in supporting entrepreneurship and identify areas where more research is needed, especially regarding how different parts of the ecosystem interact. So these studies highlight the need for more research into these important but understudied areas of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, particularly for micro and small enterprises. This gap is precisely the reason why undertaking this research. The theoretical framework in this study utilize the following: the entrepreneurial ecosystem theory, the resource-based view theory, technology acceptance model theory, diffusion of innovations theory, and entrepreneurial orientation theory. These frameworks help us understand how various elements of the entrepreneurial ecosystem and technology adoption impact the competitiveness of micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao. The conceptual framework illustrates the relationship between the independent variables and the entrepreneurial ecosystem and technological adoption, both of which influence the dependent variable competitiveness. The entrepreneurial ecosystem encompasses several dimensions that support the growth and sustainability of micro and small enterprises, such as finance, which refers to access to funding and financial resources that enable businesses to invest in new technologies. Human capital, highlighting the skills, the knowledge, and experience of the workforce essential for effectively utilizing technology. Support, which includes resources like mentorship and training programs that help MSEs navigate challenges. Policy, reflecting government regulations that create a favorable environment for entrepreneurship. Culture, representing societal attitudes toward innovation, and markets, indicating the availability of market opportunities that influence competitiveness. On the other hand, technological adoption includes dimensions such as relative advantage, which pertains to the perceived benefits of adapting a technology over existing methods. Compatibility, which assesses how well the new technology fits with the existing systems. Observability, referring to the visibility of the benefits of technology adoption. Complexity, which addresses the perceived difficulty of using the technology. And trialability, the ability to test the technology on a limited basis before fully committing. The framework illustrates how these independent variables interact to influence the competitiveness of MSEs, empowering them to improve operations, innovate, and better meet customer needs in the market, thus ensuring sustained competitiveness. The statement of the problem this study seeks to investigate how the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the level of technological adoption within micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao impact the overall competitiveness of these enterprises. And this study seeks to answer the following questions. First, what is the demographic profile of micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao in terms of ownership, number of employees, and years of operation? Second, what is the current state of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Northern Mindanao with respect to policy, finance, culture, supports, human capital, and markets? Third, what is the extent of technological adoption among MSEs in region with regards to relative advantage, observability, compatibility, complexity, and trialability? Fourth, what is the degree of competitiveness among micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao in terms of market position, customer focus, financial management, and marketing and sales? Fifth, do entrepreneurial ecosystem and technological adoption have significant relationship on the competitiveness of micro and small enterprises? And the last one, which variable best predict singly or in combination the competitiveness of micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao, Philippines? The hypothesis, the following are the null hypothesis of the study. Null hypothesis 1, entrepreneurial ecosystem has no significant relationship on the competitiveness of micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao. Null hypothesis 2, technological adoption has no significant relationship on the competitiveness of micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao. Null hypothesis 3, there is no variable singly or in combination that best predicts the competitiveness of micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao. This study is significant for various stakeholders, including micro and small enterprises, owners, policymakers, business support organizations, academics, financial institutions, community development agencies, and educators. It offers valuable insights into the factors influencing MSE competitiveness, informing policy development, program design, and financial product offerings. The findings enhance the understanding of entrepreneurship and technological adoption in Northern Mindanao, guiding initiatives that promote MSE growth and sustainable economic development, while also aiding the creation of relevant educational curricula. The scope of the study focuses on examining the influence of the entrepreneurial ecosystem and technological adoption on the competitiveness of micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao, Philippines. Specifically, it will concentrate on MSEs operating within the region, including the various provinces such as Bukidnon, Camiguin, Lanao del Norte, Misamis Occidental, and Misamis Oriental. The research will specifically target owners and managers of micro and small enterprises engaged in wholesale and retail businesses within Northern Mindanao. The wholesale and retail trade includes the distribution of consumer goods such as food, clothing, electronics, and household items. It also covers industrial goods, agricultural products, and both durable and non-durable goods. MSEs in Northern Mindanao often rely on wholesale and retail channels to distribute their products. By engaging with wholesalers and retailers, these enterprises gain access to broader markets, allowing them to reach more customers than they could independently by Mindanao Development Authority 2024. By engaging these respondents, the study aims By engaging these respondents, the study aims to gather a comprehensive range of perspectives on the factors influencing MSE competitiveness. So the key variables will include components of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, such as finance, human capital, support services, policies, culture, and market access, as well as dimensions of technological adoption, including relative advantage, compatibility, observability, complexity, and trialability. To assess competitiveness, the study will examine various indicators, including market position, customer focus, financial management, and marketing and sales. This study employs a descriptive correlational methods approach, incorporating quantitative surveys to comprehensively analyze the influence of the entrepreneurial ecosystem and technological adoption on the competitiveness of micro and small enterprises. Methodology, the research design, this study is descriptive correlation in design. It will utilize the descriptive survey method. This research will be using quantitative measurements. To explain correlation among variables, the Pearson correlation will be used. The 0.05 level of significance will be used as the criteria in the multiple regression analysis and hypothesis testing. The multiple regression analysis will be used to measure significance and the level of influence of each independent variable to dependent variable. The multiple regression model output will be useful in the analysis and interpretation to support the purpose of this study. The variables to be included in the study are entrepreneurial ecosystem with dimensions such as finance, human capital, supports, policy, culture, and markets, and technological adoption with dimensions such as relative advantage, compatibility, observability, complexity, and trialability as the dependent variable and the dependent variable competitiveness with dimensions such as market position, customer focus, financial management, and marketing and sales as a dependent variable. This approach helps to better understand the different factors that contribute to the success of micro enterprises in Northern Mindanao. The respondents of this research will be the owners or managers of registered micro and small enterprises engaged in wholesale and retail business in Northern Mindanao. These micro and small enterprises should be located in Northern Mindanao, Philippines. The sampling frame for the study includes all micro enterprises registered in Northern Mindanao. The list of registered micro enterprises was taken from the Philippine Statistics Authority. Northern Mindanao is comprised of 5 provinces, Bukidnon, Camiguin, Llano del Norte, Misamis Occidental, and Misamis Oriental. 30,104 micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao. Using the Taro-Yamin formula to compute sample size at a 5% margin of error and 95% confidence is as follows. Based on Taro-Yamin formula, the total sample size will be 397. Considering an allowance for non-response of around 20%, the target sample size is 496. The allowance of 20% for non-response will be established to consider respondents who will not opt to participate. The sampling technique that will be used is stratified random sampling. This technique will be employed to select a representative sample of micro and small enterprises from the sampling frame. Stratified random sampling is a method used to ensure that a representative sample is selected from a larger population by dividing the population into distinct groups or strata based on certain characteristics. So in this case, the population of micro and small enterprises is stratified by province within Region 10. By stratifying the population by province, the sampling process ensures that each geographic area within the region is proportionally represented in the sample. Once the population is stratified, a random sample is selected from each stratum. This stratum selection ensures that every microenterprise within each province has an equal chance of being included in the sample, thus reducing bias and increasing the generalizability of the findings to the entire population. In the described methodology, the target sample size is determined based on the population size of each province within the region. The sample size allocation is proportional to the population size of each province, ensuring that larger provinces have a larger representation in the sample. The sample distribution of 497 will be computed based on the population per province as shown in the table. The required sample per province will be Bukidnon with 124, Camiguin with 8, Lanao del Norte with 51, Misamis Occidental with 51, and Misamis Oriental with 163. A substitution method is employed if there are challenges in securing responses from the initially selected sample, despite the allotted allowance of 20% for non-response due to refusal to participate or not meeting certain criteria. This involves randomly selecting replacement respondents from the remaining list of microenterprises within each province using an online randomizer. This ensures that the final sample remains representative of the population even in the face of potential non-response or eligibility issues. The data collection method, the researcher will ask permission or approval through an informed consent form in order to gather customer data. The informed consent form specifically seeks formal approval or permission from the respondents to participate in the survey. It explains the purpose and conduct of the study, the duration of participation, the potential risk and inconveniences, benefits of participation, and confidentiality measures in accordance with the ethical standards for research and compliance with the Data Privacy Act to safeguard respondents' personal information and to ensure that participants understand and voluntarily agree to take part in the study. Upon agreement to participate, respondents will be requested to sign the informed consent form, and at all times, the data obtained will be treated with utmost confidentiality. The primary tool for data collection in this study will be a survey questionnaire designed to collect quantitative data related to the research variables. A face-to-face approach will be used to gather primary data, ensuring the collection of accurate, reliable, and valid information. Trained enumerators will be engaged in conducting the surveys to ensure the timely completion of data gathering. During the interviews, the researcher or enumerator will introduce themselves and provide a brief overview of the visit's purpose and the study's objectives. The questionnaire will then be distributed to the respondents with enumerators guiding them to ensure they understand the instructions and complete the questionnaire accurately, avoiding any missing data. Enumerators will also be available to answer any questions from respondents, ensuring clarity and thoroughness in the data collection process. To optimize efficiency and resource utilization, the researcher proposes simultaneous data collection across cities and municipalities within the province. So this approach aims to minimize the time, effort, and cost associated with collection data activities. The research instrument comprises the principal survey questionnaire and a cover letter. The cover letter contains a brief explanation of the overall concept and the objectives of the study. The survey questionnaire will be a combination of adapted and self-constructed questions to address the research objectives. The questionnaire is composed of 80 statements. Each statement corresponds to be answered on a 5-point Likert scale that ranges from 1 highly disagree to 5 highly agree. The statements are constructed per indicator in each variable based on the published related literature. For each indicator, there will be statements comprising the perception dimension that require responses from respondents based on their level of agreement. The survey questionnaire will be validated by 3 experts. After validation, it will be pretested with a sample of 30 respondents. The pretest will be used to calculate Cronbach's alpha to assess the internal validity and consistency of the questionnaire. Adjustments to the questionnaire will be made after the reliability test results. The respondents from the pretest will not be included in the final sample size of the study. The statistical software will be employed to compute Cronbach's alpha, which typically ranges from 0 to 1. This study will employ statistical tools as measurements for a comprehensive analysis. The latest version of the statistical software, Jhon, will be utilized for data analysis, facilitating the generation of results to address the research questions posed in this paper. This study will employ descriptive statistics to describe the respondents' demographic characteristics using frequency distribution, means, and percentages. All micro and small enterprises will be taken into account and analyzed collectively. For the quantitative analysis, multiple linear regression will serve as the primary statistical method. This analysis will be used to explore the relationships between the independent variables and the dependent variable while testing the study's null hypothesis. This is the my survey questionnaire composed of the cover letter, informed consent, the set of questions, that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's open the floor for anyone who has questions. Please raise your hand or type in the chat box. Okay, sige. Yes, Doc
Doc
Marvin. Go
Lady.
ahead. Yes, go po.
Okay. Connie?
Yes, Doc.
May konti lang akong gusto i-clarify.
Yes po, Doc.
This is about the region-specific perspective, no?
Yes po.
I'd like to clarify. Are there unique regional characteristics, no? Like, for example, resource availability or probably regional partnerships that can significantly influence MSC competitiveness. By the way, this question is actually before you make the analysis. I just would like to know your perspective on this. No? So, itong mga characteristics na to, yung resource availability, partnerships,
Yes
do you
po.
think they can significantly influence the competitiveness of MSCs?
Yes po. I think they can significantly influence the competitiveness of the micro and small enterprises of Northern Mindanao because they can give or mentor this micro enterprises po in Northern Mindanao po. They can give support, mentorship, and just like po, we have in Northern Mindanao po, the Go Negosyo. This is a national advocacy program po that provides mentoring sessions for entrepreneurs, helping them with business strategies and growth po. Aside from that, we have also this Kapatid Mentor Me program. This is a mentorship initiative po by the Department of Trade and Industry that pairs small business owners with experienced mentors for guidance. Di Pondo ng Pagbabago, Pondo sa Pagbabago at Pag-asenso po, the PE3 program, is a government initiative that offers affordable financing to MSCs through cooperative banks and microfinance institutions po. The Kapatid Angat Lahat program, this is a public-private partnership that connects MSCs with larger corporations for mentorship, training, and market access po. This program enhances po the capabilities of MSCs and improves the competitiveness in the market po. So with this group of organizations po that we have in Mindanao, this can probably help the micro and small enterprises po to remain competitive and to be sustainable po in the business industry. Doc, I hope I answered your question po. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Connie. So I would like to give way to others.
Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Doc Mars. Anyone who has questions for Miss Connie? Sige, I'll go first na lang then after kay Doc Marvin, no? Miss Connie, ang tanong ko is, are you covering all of the MSMEs sa Northern Mindanao?
I will cover the MSMEs in more micro and small enterprises in Mindanao, which are only engaged in retail and wholesale businesses po.
Okay, so retail and wholesale businesses. So ang nakalagay dun sa parang proposal mo for data gathering are only the retail and wholesale na yon.
Yes po.
Okay, so ang aking concern lang is because you would like to check okay lang yung entrepreneurial ecosystem. However, meron din kasing technological adoption. No?
Yes
Are
po.
all the retail and wholesale industries in Northern Mindanao ginagamit ba nila yung technology?
I think they are using technology po because this wholesale and retail businesses engage in the distribution of consumer goods po, such as food, clothing, electronics, and household items. So parang they are using this technology po to improve their efficiency in business and in ensuring that they can save time and effort po. And they are also adapting na this emerging technologies po in the market with the current trends po that is being followed po in the business industry.
So sure ka 100% all of them are using technology?
That is the one that I will look into po further po, Doc.
Sige. So try to filter siguro, no?
Yes
Because
po.
baka sayang yung questionnaire if hindi sila gumagamit. Further, maybe if you can, for those who are not yet using, maybe you can ask, no, bakit hindi sila gumagamit or are they open to it? No, baka you can also look into it kung hindi sila technologically aligned, what is their need? Kasi baka masagot din dun sa entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Ay, yes. Okay, Doc, I appreciate your feedback po. I will incorporate those ideas po in my as I refine po my research. Thank you so much, Doc.
Sige. So anyone else? Adeline, would you like to ask question?
Yes, ma'am. So I am presently also from the local government of General Santos, and one of the main tasks rin is more on providing livelihood to this micro, small, and medium enterprise sa local government. So my question is impact of government policies. So given the identified absence of favorable government policies in Northern Mindanao, can you elaborate on specific policy recommendations that could address this gap and support from MSE growth in the region?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Can you ask again po, ma'am?
I'm asking about the impact of government policies
Yes
in
po.
your Northern Mindanao region. So, given the identified absence, so you have identified absence of favorable government policies in Northern Mindanao.
Yes po.
So, can you elaborate on a specific policy recommendation that could address this gap and support the MSME growth in the region?
One policy could be the tax incentive po for the micro and small enterprises po in the region, especially po in Northern Mindanao, or it can be also included in other region such as yours po. So the tax incentives could be given to the micro and small enterprises if they can complete the requirements early enough, or if they can complete all the requirements needed by the city or municipality po.
Okay. So, as challenges also in terms also, in addition with that question, I would like also to tackle more on the scope of technological adoptions. So in
Yes
your
po.
study, so how do you define technological adoption in terms of micro and small enterprise? So are there specific technologies that would focus on, or how does this term encompasses a broad range?
Technological adoption po in my study refers to the process through which the individuals, the organizations, or society begin to use and integrate this new technology into the existing policies. And this technological adoption involves several steps. The first one is that they become aware of the technology and then they show interest and then evaluate its usefulness, try it out, and then finally decide to fully integrate this into their routines. So example for this is that maybe some of the micro and small enterprises have this traditional cash register. So if they will be going to adapt technology to improve efficiency in their business or to remain competitive, they will adopt the POS, the point of sale systems that will save, or that will give them the time to, that will save their time po, and then that will help them engage in business to stay competitive po. That's it po. Because in the point of sales system, they can review their transactions, they can review the inventory, while in the traditional cash register system, it's all about the sales, while in the POS, ano na lang, generation na lang lahat. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Adeline. Gemma Chu, you are acknowledged, recognized.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Dr. Lady. I would like to congratulate also Miss Sudaria, no,
Thank
for
you po.
this research proposal, because this is a nice study. Your study is exploring the influence of entrepreneurial ecosystem. So we know that the entrepreneur ecosystem involves the social, economic, cultural, and political, or so to speak, peace and order context that support high growth entrepreneurship in your region. So would you not consider including the peace and order situation in your study, contributing to the competitiveness of these MSEs? Because we know it's a reality that peace and order situation have proven to have a direct impact on businesses. So when there is peace, good businesses follow.
Yes, ma'am. I will look into it, ma'am, and I will probably include that in the indicators as to the factors that will determine the competitiveness of these micro enterprises, as micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that suggestion.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Gemma. Sir Jerry, you are recognized.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon once again. Thank you, ma'am, for such in JGA. It was a wonderful presentation. And I've just one question, because based on the slides you have presented, it only focused on external factors like entrepreneurial ecosystem, technological adoption, government policies, access to finance, human capital, support system in MSC competitiveness in Northern Mindanao. And it's crucial if you also address the intrinsic motivation factors such as passion and personal drive of these entrepreneurs. No, as we know, like for example, the Indian and the Pana. No, we have all the tools and everything, but may problema yung Indian. There's also a problem. No, so why not now? Saan sa picture yung personal o intrinsic motivation, which is very, very crucial sa success ng business. And I'm an avid follower of agribusiness, how it works, no? Sa YouTube, sa channel ni Buddy Garcena. And ang isa doon na factor is really that personal motivation sa mga entrepreneurs, no? Itong mga, especially these MSEs. So saan dito sa picture, no? How might intrinsic factors like passion and personal motivation impact the success of MSEs in Northern Mindanao alongside with external challenges that you have presented?
Sir, it's not included in the factors, the dimensions in the factors, but I'm happy, and I can reassure you, sir, that I will integrate your suggestions to include passion and drive to my research, sir, to strengthen my research. Naging
Yes.
doc na kita, sir.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you so
ma'am.
much po.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all.
Thank you, Sir Jerry. Anyone else would like to ask question? Yes, go ahead, JT Punayan.
Hi, good afternoon, Miss Concepcion,
Hello po,
and
good
to everyone.
afternoon.
I'm quite fascinated with your variable of interest, which is the competitiveness. May I know what is the status right now in Northern Mindanao, the competitiveness of the MSEs?
In Northern Mindanao po, it's not that parang hindi pa po siya lahat ng mga micro and small enterprises fully competitive po, because some of the micro and small enterprises in Northern Mindanao are hesitant still to adopt new technology because it might hinder their success po, according to some of the micro enterprises that I have interviewed initially, because, and also they are hesitant to use the technology because others are not into technology really, and that's it po, they are not fully competitive. That's why I'm also having this research po to explore
Alright.
those yes po.
All right, so your title is one of the IVs that you use is the technological adoption,
Yes po.
right? So if they are hesitant to use the technology, how are you going to measure the technological adoption given that they are hesitant and they are not using the technology for this particular problem, technological advancement, technological adoption variable?
The technological adoption variables, this refers to like, this is to explore if the new technology, this is going to identify po if the new technology is really fit, this new technology fits with the existing technology. So this particular dimension, like the relative advantage, this poses that if the technology fits with the current practices of this particular micro enterprises, they are going to adapt it, adapt or include those technology in their business. So the technological adoption within this context refers to those that have already the technology and those that are going to adopt the technology.
You mean what technology? Can you cite particular examples that what technology that they are using in their business? Because that
POS.
would include in your qualification criteria in choosing your respondents, right?
I've mentioned the example of the POS, and also the technology does not mean that It's all about the social media, the emerging technologies like the social media can be considered as part of their technology. Like for example, the Facebook, the Instagram, and others, this can be considered as the technology that can be used to improve their marketing strategies po. So it's not really on the machines and all, but the considerations of smaller ones, unlike the Facebook and others, is considered a technological adoption.
All right, so maybe that is about social media campaign, but you can also include other factors that could affect your competitiveness as your variable of interest.
Okay
Just a
po.
suggestion.
Okay
Thank
po.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir JP. Go ahead, Sir Kirby.
Hello, good afternoon. So congratulations, Miss Sudaria. So
Thank you.
I just want to ask yung the sample frame ng iyong study. Ano yung saan tayo kukuha ng list, and ano yung mga included, kasi ang sa akin lang is the new MSME ba are included? Ano, ilang years ba yung tinitingnan natin na existing na sila? Kasi
Okay.
I just want to yung bago kasi, no, parang they were hesitant to use technology than the mga luma, yung mga I mean matagal na MSME.
Okay po. The list will be coming from, or the one that I was using was from the Philippine Statistics Authority po, and that will include businesses, micro and small enterprises that have been in operation for 3 years po.
3 years. So yung mga 3 years below, hindi muna.
Hindi, yes po, hindi nakasali po.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Sir Kirby. Anyone
Connie?
else?
Yes,
Doc Lady.
Doc.
Okay, talking about the hesitancy to adopt technology among MSEs. I'd like to get again your perspective. Connie, with this hesitancy, are you counting on the government by way of government policy, for example, in Northern Mindanao?
Yeah, yes po.
Are you considering that?
Yes po.
How policy interventions either facilitate or hinder technology use in MSEs? Do you think the government can help this? The local government units and probably some government agencies who are in the who has regulatory and developmental functions like the DTI? Do you think they can play very significant roles insofar as addressing hesitancy to adopt technology among MSEs? What do you think?
I think po they played a big role po, or they can influence po on the hesitancy of this particular businesses po, because
You
this
know, some few years back, I could remember that somewhere in Northern Mindanao, the DTI launched a grant program specifically for MSEs. Probably you can research on this, no?
yes po.
That adopt digital payment systems and online sales platforms.
Yes po.
Okay, so one example of this, I think, as I could remember, is one agricultural supplier in Bukidnon, which previously relied solely on physical storefront sales, no? That particular supplier received a grant to help cover the cost of setting up an e-commerce platform and training employees
Okay.
on how to manage online orders. So with that, this enabled that supplier to reach more customers across the region and, of course, increase sales. So I think this support from DTI not only reduce the financial burden, but also incentivize other small businesses in the area to consider digital transformation. So probably you can research on that.
Yes, okay, Doc. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Doc. Okay
And then
po, Doc.
another one is I think somewhere also in northern Mindanao, some local government units implemented an expedited business registration process for enterprises that operate online or have a significant digital component. One particular example of this is a particular entrepreneur in Camiguin who planned to start an online craft store. No? And this entrepreneur benefited from this streamlined process, allowing him to focus more on setting up online storefront and marketing. So you can also probably look into this, huh?
Okay, Doc. Okay, Doc.
And
Thank you
then
so much.
I think another one is about tax incentives
Yes.
for technological upgrades. I don't know. I think we have one from BIR here. I think this is Casey around, Veronica? Veronica?
Doc, andyan po siya, si Casey.
Casey, are you there?
Teka, baka po nag-lag at nag...
Casey?
Doc, hello Doc, good afternoon.
Oo. Nagising ka na?
Yes, actually I'm just listening to the questions Doc kanina po. Yes,
Okay,
Doc,
we are
with
talking about
regards to...
the role of government, no, insofar as technology adoption is concerned. So
Yes po.
marami akong binigay na mga nabasa ko before examples, and I think one of these examples is yung ginawa ng local government sa Lanao del Norte. Nag-offer sila ng tax reduction para doon sa mga MSCs na nag-invest sa technology.
Yeah.
Such as upgrading point of sale systems, or another one is adopting supply chain management software. Yung mga ganyan. Are you aware of that? Case?
Sorry Doc, I'm not aware with that projects of the...
You're not aware of that, huh?
Talaga. No Doc, I'm not aware po Doc regarding those
Maybe...
incentives. I'm aware of Barangay Micro Business Enterprises Act po Doc. The researcher can also deal on that po Doc.
Local government unit ito sa Lanao del Norte.
I'm not familiar with the local government po Doc, because I'm in BIR po, a national government agency po.
I think this is somewhere in Iligan City as far as I can recall. Parang
Okay
gano'n.
po Doc.
So nag-invest sa POI system yung yung isang business unit doon, that itong POI system na to in-integrate yung inventory management and sales tracking.
Yes po.
So na-streamline yung operation niya, and then reduce din yung mga manual errors. So yun ang ginawa, no? And the LGU, I think it's the LGU Iligan City that offered tax reductions for some of these
Probably in
MSs.
their po Doc, because Iligan City po Doc has power po Doc to collect local taxes po. So maybe
so
the
hindi
LGU
dumaan sa
of
inyo yan. Hindi yan dumadaan sa inyo.
Hindi po.
I see.
National taxes po kasi yung sa amin po Doc. Probably in their local, in terms of local taxes po ni LGU Iligan po.
I see. So
yes,
yan Connie, no, yung mga ganyan
Yes
examples,
po.
probably
Okay
you can
po.
look into them. Ha?
Okay po. Sige po. Thank you so
Para
much, Doc.
ma-explore mo yung possibility na merong contribution ng government dito as far
Yes
as
po.
technology adoption is concerned.
Okay po, Doc. Thank you so much.
So,
Okay po.
yun lang, Doc Lady. Thank you. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, Miss Connie. No? So
Thank
we'd
you.
like to give Miss Connie a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Sige, so finalize the paper and then submit for our schedule for the proposal defense.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc.
Okay, so our last, no, and definitely not the last naman, no, in our public seminar this afternoon is Mr. Reil Romero. We'll be talking about MSME's post-pandemic playbook, unraveling the post-pandemic strategies of the Davao region's MSME in the lens of wholesaling and retailing business. Sir Reil, you may start.
Hello po, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Doc Lady. Good afternoon, Doc Marvin. And of course, good afternoon, everyone po. I'm asking at least a minute to share my PowerPoint presentation for this one.
Yes, you may share.
Share screen. I hope it's visible already, Doc Lady.
Hindi pa siya naka-present. Yan, that's it. Okay.
Is okay na po. All right. So yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Doc Lady again, and everyone who are interested to listen to my proposed dissertation entitled MSME's Post-Pandemic Playbook, Unraveling the Post-Pandemic Strategies of Davao Region's Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises in the Lens of Wholesaling and Retailing Business. So basically, as part of the introduction, so we are aware that COVID-19 changes everything from the way we live, the way we consume, the way we consume and the way we purchase or buy our products, specifically the consumer behavior. Similarly to those businesses, they also change the way they do their business, no, particularly to those MSMEs, as well as not only MSMEs, but also large enterprises. So because of COVID-19, business dynamics arises. No? So these dynamics created both, perhaps should I say, business threats as well as business opportunities. So the main cause of business threats is the consistent lockdowns and mobility restrictions implemented by government to contain the spread of coronavirus 2019. No, so it literally threatened the business sustainability, particularly those businesses who are too dependent to physical customer traffic. Meanwhile, rapid technological advancement, dynamic consumer behavior, and rise of e-commerce proven to be excellent opportunities for business. So basically, the emergence of COVID-19, or the successful survival of this modern society to new normal, encourages businesses to strategize in order for them to preserve their business operations, as well as protect their sustainability, and of course increase their chances of surviving the new normal. So basically, we are aware that large enterprises has a lot of resources. They have a well-structured organizational framework which they can easily respond in order for them to protect themselves from threats, as well as exploit the possible opportunities created by COVID-19 pandemic. However, it's a different arena for the micro, small, medium enterprises, given their limited resources, as well as limited ability to establish a well-structured organizational framework in order to do the same thing that large enterprises is doing. So basically, the research gap for this proposed dissertations is, as you can see, it was presented before in a previous presenter that significant or MSMEs in the Philippines comprises 99.6% of the total business enterprises in the Philippines. So imagine the possible contribution of it, especially the economic contribution, as well as the employment opportunities. So basically, only a fraction of the total enterprises in the Philippines belongs to what we call large enterprises. So as to the GDP, the gross domestic product, the productivity of the country, literally depends on the micro, small, or majority of the economic production literally depends on MSMEs. So as you can see, I further specify it to the Davao region, of which the locale of this examination, of which it was later identified that 89.7% of the total enterprises in Davao region belongs to MSMEs, while only a fraction of it, which is 10.3%, or belongs to large enterprises. So many people, or perhaps many audience here in this forum or in this seminar, will ask why I choose the wholesale and retail trade. So basically, the Regional Development Plan published by Regional Development Council, supervised by National Economic Development Authority of Davao Region, stated that most of the MSMEs in the region engage in wholesale and retail trade. So when we say wholesale and retail trade, it is what we call business enterprises which are engaged in non-transformation of goods, meaning there is no transformation of goods involved. So basically, they just buy it from the manufacturer, then wholesaler will sell it to the retailer, and the retailer will sell it to the final consumers. All right. So next one is, another research gap is, of course, it's basically what we call is evident or vivid to say that the impact of COVID-19 varies from one industry to another. So the graph shows you, the bar graph here in this presentation shows you the variation of impact of COVID-19. So as you can see, the manufacturing sector in the Philippines really suffered a lot from the COVID-19, of which 870 or more than 800 billion pesos. It suffered more than 800 billion pesos of damage, while number 2 is the target of this examination, which is the wholesaling and retailing business, which suffered more than 700 billion pesos of damages due to COVID-19 pandemic. Also, one of the most important research gap, should I say, is that the study on the key enabling or key factors to MSME's competitiveness, what we call this mga strategies of MSMEs implemented, was literally focused, if none at or majority of the study, if not all of the examinations, focuses on international or national scope, presumably or literally resulted to what we call generalization. So basically, that's the research gap that is going to be addressed. Those are the research gaps that are going to be addressed by this research. Okay, so so framework. So basically, in discussing business sustainability, the following theories arise. So the first one is organizational resilience theory. The second one is contingency theory, chaos theory, and butterfly effect theory, and the theory of diffusion of innovation, and finally, the theory of human capital. So basically, these theories literally aligns or projects how should the business be sustainable, or how should the business manage crisis in order for them to survive, in order for them to preserve their business sustainability and perhaps their business operations. Right? So next one is the conceptual framework. So as you can see, the conceptual framework, given the exploratory nature of this study, perhaps since this study will utilize exploratory factor analysis. So as you can see, the conceptual framework of this examination is interdependence technique. There are two-headed arrows, since in exploratory factor analysis, you will not establish dependence relationship or dependence connection between independent and dependent variables, but presumably identify the possible dimensions, or should we say factors, basically, so that will underlie or explain the main variable, which is this one, the post-pandemic strategies of Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs. So basically, as you can see, the variables there are too many arrows, since the raw the raw result of exploratory factor analysis is just it will outline the different variables being used by the researcher. So there are mix of factor loadings as well as in a commonality. So basically, the researcher will now follow every statistical assumption of exploratory factor analysis, particularly on the factor loading qualification, as well as the commonality for the variables. To the factors naman is, of course, it will follow the basically the eigenvalues of each components, as well as in Johnson's book discussing exploratory factor analysis, it has also recommended the use of parallel method, as well as the prior interest of the researcher. But this time, of course, being an academic research, I will rely on the statistical assumption of the statistical assumptions of the exploratory factor analysis, and I will not consider my prior motivation as the researcher in order to prevent any research bias for this examination. So next one is, so statement of the problem or the research question. So basically, the exploratory nature of this study limits, perhaps based on my personal knowledge, as well as personal understanding in the book of Johnson, as well as Hare, limits the number of research questions to be answered for this examination. So the first one is, what are the factors of post-pandemic strategies employed by the Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs? And of course, the second one is what is the appropriate model which encapsulates the factors of post-pandemic strategies employed by the Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs? Next is for the hypothesis. So basically, there are varying factors of post-pandemic strategies employed by the Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs. Each factors of post-pandemic strategies employed by the Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs was represented by multiple variables. The model which encapsulates the factors of post-pandemic strategies employed by the Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs is multidimensional. Next one is, of course, the research objective. So, of course, the primary research objective for this study is to unravel the factors of post-pandemic strategies of Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs. And the second one is to utilize exploratory factor analysis through principal component analysis to narrow down the varying variables of the study. The third one is achieve regionalization of the discipline or research topic. And the last one is to achieve complete representation of Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs. Next one is the significance. So perhaps research or any examination, either it is applied or academic, should be perhaps useless if it has no significance. So basically, the first one is the significance of this examination is the complete representation of the Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs. Of course, achieve regionalization of the research topic, and of course, the results, the possible results, hopefully, and praying if its study will be approved during the proposal defense, the results would be vital for the programs and policies promulgation process of the government. And finally, of course, being an academician myself, the results of this study would provide new information for research and academic community, perhaps be added in the compendium of information in the field of entrepreneurship, in the field of micro, small, medium enterprises, and in the field of programs and policies for enterprise development. Next one is scope and limitations. So perhaps to achieve or following the justification of economic justification. So perhaps we have limited resources. So it will just focus to the Davao region. So basically in Davao region, we have Davao del Sur, Davao del Norte, Davao de Oro, Davao Oriental, Davao Occidental, and of course the chartered city, which is the Davao City. So specific only to MSMEs. So as to the classification, the researcher followed the classification of the Department of Trade and Industry based on the business market capitalization as well as the number of employees. And finally, for the scope of this study is focuses in wholesale and retail business. Next one for the research methodology. So research design will be descriptive exploratory. And for the research technique and statistical treatment, exploratory factor analysis using principal component analysis following its associated statistical assumptions and qualifications. So basically, the principal component analysis objective here is to narrow down the varying variables because like what I said earlier, the researcher is aiming to reduce the number of varying variables into different factors. Next one is, of course, there are multiple assumptions for exploratory factor analysis. No? So as I gradually understand the book of Johnson as well as the book of Hare, there are preliminary technique you need to pass before proceeding to factor analysis, which are the Bartlett test of sphericity, which measures if the variables being employed in the study are significant. No, at least one of them is significant. And the second one is the test of sampling adequacy, whether the sample being utilized in this study is enough for the research or for the examination to proceed to the factor analysis. Okay, so basically those assumptions, there are also metrics to be used. So for example, for Bartlett's test of sphericity, it should be what do you call this? It should be less than 0.05, as well as for Kaiser-Meyer-Olkin test of sampling adequacy, or the KMO test of sampling adequacy, is it should be greater than 0.6 for it to be considered as adequate for factor analysis. So the research locale for this examination is, of course, like what I said, Davao region. And of course, the research questionnaire is, of course, the researcher made because given its exploratory in nature. So it is structured and survey questionnaire using 5-point non-metric scale. So as you can see, there's a difference here. So basically, Likert 5-point questionnaire pa rin, but then again, it is non-metric since Johnson et al. Noted that using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for exploratory factor analysis would be inappropriate, since the appropriate instrument to be used for FAS should be interval. By using the 5-point metric scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it will make the survey instrument a what we call this, ordinal or ranking, which is inappropriate for exploratory factor analysis. However, there's I don't know if the right term is disclaimer, kasi there is a important word from the book of Johnson stating that there are limited research saying that this is correct, but then again, I just followed the Johnson's recommendation for the use of 5-point non-metric scale. Next one is, the research respondents would be the Davao region's wholesaling and retailing business. And for the sample size, 500 samples, similar to what Doc Marvin said to us. No, we need to compute using Yamane's formula. No, so mistakenly known as the Siluvin's formula that time when I was in undergraduate years. So that's Yamane's formula, factoring in the 20% as the defense of sampling error and possibility of non-response. So the sample size, so out of 500 samples, 455 samples will be from micro, 37 from small, and 2 from medium enterprises. So this is the result of stratification. So these 455, 37, and 2 samples will be further stratified using the data depending on the number of wholesaling business per province. Right now, as of the date of this public seminar, I am only possessing the data of Davao region. I am just currently waiting to the latest the reply of Philippine Statistics Authority showing the latest data per province. For me to complete the stratification, in order for me to correctly distribute the number of samples per provinces, if provided that due to the limited statistical prowess that we have here in perhaps limited data, limited storage or data storage, kasi I partially requested to the PSA, but they can only provide the 2021, and I called their office. They can only provide the 2022 within this year. So basically, if those things are not available, so perhaps I will use the simple random technique or the wheel of I forgot the name, the spin wheel to randomly distribute the samples, randomly distribute the samples. Okay. Next is, of course, the research methodology again, sampling technique, so stratified sampling technique. So using the Davao region's wholesaling and retailing business as the target population. For the data collection technique, two-pronged data collection, that is through Google form or manual survey form. May recruit enumerators following the university's guidelines, of course. So basically, the principles of economic justification. So perhaps it would be, should I say, not wise for me to visit every. I physically visit, but if I can hire enumerators and the university will allow it, I will avail the enumerators ability. So provided that of course the university will establish its guidelines, and perhaps I will follow the guidelines of the university with regards to the data collection methods using enumerators. And for the ethical considerations, are data privacy, security, and authenticity is of priority. So that's why enumerators will be trained properly and, of course, extensively in order for them to know the ethical considerations of this study, particularly the informed consent, the importance of informed consent, the importance of data privacy, security, and authenticity, as well as the most important is the voluntary participation for this study, which means that when respondents rejected, I cannot do anything for this. So basically, perhaps I can prevent that by giving somewhat encouragement, perhaps, or reward system if it's allowed. No? So perhaps I've seen a lot of researcher na nagbibigay ng mga papremyo or included ang kanilang name sa raffle, perhaps. No? So, or maybe again, I will just follow what the university or Ateneo de Davao University School of Business and Governance guidelines. So next one, and I think that would be all. So thank you for listening, and of course, me, the presenter researcher, is now ready for the open forum and question and answer portion. Thank you and have a nice day.
Anyone who has questions for Mr. Reil? Go ahead, Doc Mars.
Doc Lady, can I ask my advisee?
Yes po, go ahead.
Okay, Reil, anong ibig sabihin ng playbook sa iyong title? What could be the significant implications of using the term playbook? What do you mean by that? Can you tell them?
Yeah, actually, Doc, I've got it from our traders forum, the playbook, which signifies the different strategies of traders to face the the what you call this dynamic world of new normal in stock markets. So basically, I attended one forum organized by First Metro Securities. So they define it as a compendium or a book of how do the traders play with the stocks when it comes. What are the strategies of the traders when it comes to the new normal? So perhaps gi-adapt na inadapt ko po siya dito na playbook. So what would be the compendium of strategies to be implemented by MSMEs?
Okay, so talking about the compendium of strategies, do you think you will be able to segment these different strategies
The way
by using exploratory factor analysis?
perhaps yes, Doc. Hopefully, and given that I am partially confident with this method, I do believe that I can do it, Doc, since I believe in the data reduction technique of EFA, the exploratory factor analysis, to narrow down the varying variables into different factors.
I hope you can do it, but I think using the term playbook is, I think, more ambitious. So I don't know if you will be able to deliver that using only exploratory factor analysis. So you look into that. That's what I've been telling you and I've been asking you before, right? But you are very insistent in using that. So let's see what will happen, and hopefully you will be able to successfully find it very challenging considering the different MSMEs that you will include in your study, no? Baka mabulunan ka, yun lang ang worry ko, Baka
Yes po, Doc.
mabulunan ka.
Yes po, Doc. I will
So
take into that
you try to consider that.
Yes po.
I don't want you to fail. I want you to succeed. So make the dissertation doable.
Yes po, Doc. So, yeah.
Okay? So,
Yes po, Doc.
sige.
Noted po, Doc. Thank you po.
Okay, so yun lang, Doc Lady muna. Sige.
Thank you, Doc Marvs. Sir Kirby, you are recognized.
Hello, good afternoon, Doc. So, gusto ko lang mag-suggest din, no, kasi yung concern ni Doc Marvin, kasi yung din ang, we have the playbook in San Miguel Brewery Incorporated, and it's a playbook about the business continuity, I think, gano'n, no? So, the problem there is it's very detailed that every risk must be identified. Dito, like for example, in Concepcion region, we identified, for example, what point are parang ma-discontinue yung business namin if there is a kanang flooding, earthquake, lalo na yung nag-earthquake. That's the talaga, no, yung para masirado yung mga daan, ganon. So, I just want to, lang sir, kung ano ba talaga yung gusto mo ma-identify. It's about the business continuity when it comes to the pandemic or the whole risk na ma-identify natin. Yun lang, sir.
So, yeah, thank you for that, sir. I am the researcher, me as a researcher aiming, sir, to the primary objective of this is to really unravel what are the strategies implemented by or employed by the wholesaling and Davao region's wholesaling and retailing MSMEs here. That's the primary objective of it. So
of what yung ko lang, sir, is anong mag-identify kasi tayo ng risk.
Yes po.
Ganun, no? Yung anong risk ang ina-identify natin, like for example calamities ba or the pandemic itself.
Yes po, sir. Actually, sir, the new normal, the post-pandemic years, kasi there are a lot of literatures that opportunities as well as threats exist in the new normal, given the different things that I've mentioned kanina, of which the what are the threats, for example, threats and opportunities such as the changing in consumer behavior, rise of e-commerce as well as the supply chain challenges. So it was indicated there. So perhaps what are the possible strategies that will be implemented by MSMEs in order to, of course, overcome, should I say it, overcome those or protect their business from those things?
Okay, so maybe I missed the ano lang no because this playbook kasi sa akin for me it's more on the proactive hindi pa nangyari, we do have the risk management, more on the risk management. Yun lang po sir, thank you.
Noted po noted po sir, salamat po.
Okay, thank you, Kirby. No, so I have the same question actually, Reil. Gaya na sabi ni Doc Marvin, I'm concerned with the factors that you are mentioning kasi sobrang dami. Given that you are just focusing on, parang generalized kasi yung industry, retail and wholesale, no? So, do you have a parang, is there a theory or in your conceptual framework that covers all the retail and wholesale at the same time? Same ba sila ng mga risks? Same ba sila ng mga factors?
Yeah, actually, Doc Lady, ang nakalagay lang sa literatures na nakita ko is, of course, yung similarities nila in terms of the limited resources that they have since they are micro, small, medium enterprises. So as to the risk that they are experiencing, the things that they are experiencing in the new normal is perhaps nakalagay lang po sa mga literature is similar na lahat generalized po sa MSMEs, not mentioning the industry is like what I said na mga factors such as supply chain, the rise of e-commerce, the changing consumer behavior of the consumers.
Kasi magkaiba yung ating example. Supply chain is different from retail at saka wholesale, no? Baka kasi these are two categories that you might want to choose from. No, baka pwede mo i-reconsider so that your study will be more focused. Kasi baka pag nag-general tayo tapos each one of them has different pala na directions, baka magka-problema. So I would like to suggest if you can find literature that will support saan sa kanila ang mas maraming factors involved. So maybe you can just focus on wholesale or focus lang sa retail para mas homogeneous yung iyong data and kasi baka magkaiba yung direction nilang dalawa, no? So please provide more detailed RL and support that will support which one of them. But if you can find talaga na 100% in all of the studies post-pandemic, pareho-pareho sila, then you will be challenging it pagdating sa data mo that you will be gathering.
Yes po, Doc. Duly noted po, Doc. The retail or wholesale, I will choose between them depending on my preference and literature availability po.
Yes, okay. So anyone else who have question? Doc Marbs, go ahead.
Yeah, gusto ko lang itanong dito kay Reil kasi hanggang ngayon malabo sa akin eh. What do you hope to accomplish by using EFA?
Actually, Doc, I'm just trying to
Let's
reduce
go to the technical part of your paper. Sige. What do you hope to accomplish by using EFA?
I am just trying to Doc, to narrow down the variables into different factors, Doc, using the EFA. So basically depending on the what you call this, they will be distributed in different components, Doc, based on when the data or the respondents will be available, Doc. They will be grouped into different components. So the raw result of that will be different factor loadings of every variable, Doc, and of course the highest factor loading if the variable 1, for example, has the highest factor loading to the component 1, as well as it will pass the communality, so which is 0.6. So basically it will be included or classified as one of the variables of factor 1. perhaps the following variables, if it will be, if it has a highest factor loading to the component number 2, with 0. Or above 0.60 na commonality, so it will belong to or classified as one of the variables of component number 2 po. That's my partial knowledge or goal for this examination po, Doc Marv.
So ano yung factor na yon? How will that factor or factors transition into something? Ano ba yung sinasabi mo? Kasi sa title mo, may nakalagay post-pandemic strategies. Are you referring to these strategies as the possible factors
Yes
that
po,
you
Doc.
will extract?
Yes po, Doc. The strategies po, Doc. The strategies po, Doc, na ano. So basically, factor once the EFA will be completed, Doc, the components will represent, or the factor will represent as the post-pandemic strategy of the MSMEs po.
Okay, meron ka namang questioner, hindi ba, Reil?
Yes po, Doc Marv.
Can you give me one possibility na kung pwedeng maging isang factor yung several variables sa questionnaire mo? Can you elaborate on that?
For example, Doc, is the variable which states that the MSMEs will adopt what we call this cashless transaction, Doc, such as GCash or Maya, as well as e-commerce platform, Doc. So perhaps once they will group into one component, so presumably they will be named into one factor. For example, embracing digitalization or implementing digitalization or embracing digitalization or automation, for example, Doc, for the component 1, which will be the factor 1.
So that factor will represent a certain strategy.
Yes po, Doc.
That is what you would like to say.
Yes po, Doc.
Oo. Kasi ang EFA will reduce the number of variables into few variables.
Opo,
So
Doc.
paano kung tatlong factors lang ang nakuha mo o 4? Di 4 na strategies lang yan. So
Yes.
how do you unravel the strategies? Let's say nakuha mo 3 factors lang o 4.
So
Kasi yan ang most likely magre-result eh. Hindi naman naabot yan ng 7 eh, o 6 o 5. Usually 4 yan eh. Yan ang pinakamarami yan eh, sa script plot.
yes po, Doc.
So paano mo ma-unravel yung mga strategies na yan kung 4 lang yan?
So basically, Doc, those factors will be represented by different variables po. And these variables were created based on the different literatures indicated in the RRL of this paper po.
Lalong magiging complicated ang problema mo. Kung halimbawa yung 2 test, bumagsak yung initial analysis mo, anong gagawin mo? Magre-specify ka. Now, when you specify the different variables, that will mean that you will delete some of these variables. So, magiging effect niyan, kung halimbawa, 4 ang nakuha mo, pero failed ang test, ang mangyayari niyan, 2 o 3 na lang. So, paano ma-unravel yan? Sige na.
Perhaps,
Possible yan na mangyari, ha?
yes po, Doc. Duly noted po.
Paano yan? Sige nga.
As to that problem po, Doc, so far, basically, as of the moment, if the trajectory of this examination will, of course, I'm hoping for the best for this examination. But
anong hoping for the best? Hindi pwede yung hoping for the best.
yeah,
Kailangan sigurado ka.
Yeah, I am.
Mag-spend ka ng time, mag-spend ka ng effort, gagastos ka dyan. Pagkatapos hindi ka naman pala sigurado, ay paano yan?
Perhaps, Doc, I can say that I am sure for it. So,
sigurado
siguro
ka,
yes po, Doc. I just need siguro further readings.
Ayan, Doc Lady, tandaan mo yung sinabi nitong si Reil, ha?
Oh my God. So, Yeah, Doc Marv. Of course, Doc Marv, with your expertise, of course, as my mentor,
Anong expertise?
you can help po. Yeah.
You'll be the one to defend your paper. I will
Yes,
not be the one to defend your paper. You.
yes po, Doc.
Oh.
I will just read more about EFA, Doc,
So
to
pag-aralan
perhaps,
mo maigi yan, ha?
yes po, Doc.
Oh, kasi baka mamaya dalawang strategies lang yan lumabas yan. Ay, paano na yan? Ha?
Yeah. Uh,
Anong iya?
yeah, perhaps po, Doc, maybe
Ha?
how to say it, yeah, I need to read more about it
Anong iya?
or
Iya ka nang iya dyan. What do
mer-
you mean by that?
I
Ha?
need to add more perhaps variables, Doc, to increase the chances
Teka.
of,
Doc Lady, kailan ang defense nito?
More or less, Doc, November 15 ata yung schedule for dissertation, yung start.
November 15? Real? Kakayanin mo na ayusin mo yung paper mo?
yes po, Doc. Yes
Hmm.
po. I will do
Palagay
my
ko
best.
dapat siguro mag-meeting tayo doon sa opisina, ha?
Yes po, Doc.
Oy, nakoy, kapag hindi ka nag-ayos dyan, this will be a bloody defense. I tell you. Pumunta ka sa opisina ko, ha?
Yes po, Doc.
After
Noted.
ng undas. I need to see you. Kasi actually, yan ang gusto kong itanong sa iyo. Kaya lang, I would like to allow you to present in the public seminar so that we can get more inputs. So
Yes
in
po,
other
Doc.
words, meron akong doubts, but I would like that to be beneficial to you. So that's why I allowed you to present your public seminar.
Opo, Doc.
Now, if there is a way for you to, again, look at it, look at your paper, at meron pa tayong time na mag-revise na. Ha?
Opo, Doc.
I don't want to have a very bloody defense. We've been through that. Si Doc Lady at ako, we've been through that a lot of times. And it's not good to see.
Yes po, Doc.
Ha? Hindi ba, Doc Lady?
Yes po, Doc Mars.
It's not good to see. Real.
Yes po, Doc. Noted po, Doc.
Ha?
Yes
So
po,
you
Doc.
have to see me. I think you have to see me face to face.
Yes po, Doc. Noted
And
po.
bring your paper. Okay? So probably more from the audience can ask some clarificatory questions and give some suggestions to Real. So siguro, pwede pa ba yan? A few minutes, Doc Lady? Pwede pa.
Yes po, sir. Actually, I saw somebody raising hand pero binaba.
Binaba. Sino kaya yun? Sige. I will give way to that. Sige. Thank you.
Sige. Okay, anyone else would like to ask question for... Yes, go ahead, Sir Jomar.
Good afternoon po. I guess what Dr. Marvin is trying to say is that not all methodologies or statistical analysis is applicable to all researchers. So we always have to go back to the research problem. What are you really trying to solve? And methods will actually just follow. It's not really necessarily that you want to have this kind of statistical analysis, so you create a study out from it, because that is always a problem in research, especially to us, especially to me. That's my problem, and I am always liable to it because I always depend on the statistical analysis that I want to use for me to create a study. But um, according to of course, in research, Manggod, you have to see first the problem. How can you address that problem, and how can you solve it using statistical analysis? So, to make it short, um, what you really want to try to solve in your study, your methodology or your statistical tool to use will just follow, or it will complement on how to answer that ba? Something like that. So yeah, that is just my take on this. Since we are really having trouble with using EFA, because again, it's not always EFA that can solve the problem, and there are different methodologies or statistical analysis that we can use in solving it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I would like to recognize the user of DTI Davao Occidental. Go ahead, please. This is Mr. Dick
Yes,
Limke.
good afternoon, Doc Lady. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
And good afternoon, everyone. No, this is not a question, but maybe to enhance the this study of Cyril, no, with regards to the topic mentioned. I agree with the Doc Lady. Maybe we can go back to the scope of the study. No, are we going to focus on the two very important sector of the business, just like wholesaling and retailing, no? For me kasi, I would rather focus on the retail industry because the challenge is really there, no? Especially in the post-pandemic times. So I'd like to raise two factors like recovery. What are the strategies in recovery and business resiliency, and the other one maybe on marketing and customer engagement, on how they leverage with the existing media tools, no, and online platforms. Yun lang po yung maybe just a suggestions to.
Yes. Okay, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Sige, Real. To add lang, Sir Real, no, I was wondering lang, can your questionnaire really get the strategies of the respondents, no? Kasi yung limitation kasi ng quantitative na mga variables, it might be true to other countries but baka iba yung sa dito. So I was thinking lang na maybe one of the things that you can do to help your study determine the real variables might be to do a focus group discussion. Kasi with that one, lalabas doon yung variable na ano yung kailangan nila. Ano yung parang anong strategies, saan sila nahuhulog na strategy. So para clear cut, alam mo na kung anong strategy ang in-implement, no? Possible lang, of which we will be doing a workshop or a seminar for that one for those who are paper writers right now. I am scheduling a how to do FGD and KII seminar. We will be sending that one out for everyone para at least alam niyo kung ano ba yung mga steps, what is the benefit of these things, and how to do it, no? Baka mas appropriate siya sa study mo because you're looking at the strategies. Kasi di ba, iba-iba naman kasi yung strategies, possible siya na hindi mahuhulog sa same variable.
Yes.
So baka may potential na ganun. Especially that all of us were not able to anticipate COVID pandemic. So baka iba-iba yung mga na-implement. Baka lang, no? So I'm with Doc Marvin with this one that maybe you should reconsider na baka yung EFA is not the fit one for your study, but you can go with it as soon as possible, no? Tignan mo muna, balikan mo yung studies, and with the guidance of Doc Marvin, baka pa din nating ma-tweak as early as possible before you go for proposal defense. Okay,
Yes,
Sir Real?
yes po, Doc. Noted po. Salamat po.
Doc Mars?
Real.
Yes po,
Doc
Doc.
Lady, can I, Kwan?
Yes po.
Real, you have to see me immediately.
Yes po, Doc.
After the undas, probably Monday, bring your paper. And
Yes.
we will try to again consider baka ma-tweak natin yung paper mo.
Yes po.
Mahabol natin sa 15, November 15, ha?
Yes po, Doc.
So medyo yan ang reason din bakit inalaw kita mag-present ngayon para we can get as much inputs as we
Yes po.
can through the public seminar. So, I hope you are not discouraged at this point.
Yes po,
Real.
Doc. Yes po.
Ano ba, umaandar pa rin ba yung dugo mo na pula o baka dugong berde na yan?
Yes po, Doc. Still red. Yeah.
Pula pa rin ha, hindi green ha.
Actually, Doc,
Hindi green.
nabawasan yung confidence, but then again, depending on our meeting on next week after the long weekend, Doc, perhaps.
Well, I think you can do it very well kasi I know you as my student.
Yes po, Doc.
And in fact, kaya kita tinanggap kasi alam ko capable ka. Kaya kita tinanggap na advisee.
Yes po.
Alam ni Doc Lady yan, di ako basta-basta tumatanggap. Alam niya yan.
Thank you po,
So,
Doc.
pangatawanan mo yung impresyon ko sa iyo. Ha?
Yes po, Doc.
So, yan ha. So, magkikita tayo sa Monday. You go to my office sa Monday. I'll see you at around siguro mga 2 p.m. 2 p.m.
Opo, Doc.
Monday.
Noted po, Doc.
Dalayan mo lahat ng paper mo dyan. Ha?
Opo, Doc. Yes po, Doc.
Okay, sige. Pag-uusapan natin ang masinsinan yan.
Sige po.
Now that we have heard the others with regard to their suggestions, we will try to consider them. Yun naman ang beauty ng ng public seminar. Marami kang makukuha insights from the participants. So, yan. So I'll see you real on Monday, 2 p.m. sa office
Yes
ko.
po.
Okay? Sige. Sige, Doc Lady. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Doc Marvs. No, so with that one, let us give Mr. Reil a round of applause. No, so just to tell everyone naman, maganda naman yung mga topics natin. So as witness today, there are a lot of good things there and opportunities, no? So there are good topics. We just need to fine-tune them. So wag kayong mawalan ng pag-asa. For those who have not yet presented in the public seminar, i-public seminar na natin para at least it will help you fine-tune as soon as possible. Okay, so with that one, we will end this public seminar. Once again, thank you and congratulations to the 3 candidates for this afternoon. We have Mr. Mclin, Jhon, Mabalot, Ms. Maria Concepcion Sudaria, and of course, Mr. Reil Romero, candidates for Doctor of Business Administration. With that one, thank you all for coming tonight and God bless us all. Patuloy po tayo sa proposal defense. Good night for everyone. Bye everyone.
Thank you po, Doc. Thank you, Doc Marv. Thank you, everyone. Salamat po.
Doc Lady, just a short message lang.
Yes. Sorry po, Doc. Go ahead, Doc Marvs.
Okay. Of course, walang perfect na study. Okay? Lahat yan imperfect. So, it's just how do we approach imperfections and how do we turn these imperfections into, somewhat like a very practical and very meaningful study. So, ganun lang naman yan. Kaya nga pinapublic seminar natin para makita natin ano yung imperfection ng mga studies na pinopropose natin. So, doon sa mga naging estudyante ko dito na nandito ngayon, huwag kayong ma-discourage kasi ganyan talaga ang paggawa ng dissertation. It's not a straight line. It is a crooked line. It is a journey. It's not a straight trip. So, dito masusubukan yung resilience ninyo, determination, and focus. So, yan ang parati ko sinasabi sa mga estudyante. So, dapat resilient kayo, determined, focus sa study ng ginagawa ninyo, determined kayo na makatapos. So, it's really up to you. It's really up to you. Okay? So, before we end, I'd like to congratulate my advisees for reaching this point. Kasi medyo mahirap talaga ito. Kukunti lang ang nakakarating sa mga ganito na umaabot ng public seminar. karamihan talaga ay hindi nakakaabot due to some, some problems or some concerns, no? So mabuti itong tatlo na to nakahabol. And actually, that is the essence of having this doctoral journey in Ateneo. So, yun lang, Doc Lady, at salamat. No? Salamat sa umattend.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, Doc Marvin. No? So, Doc Marvin is their advisor and hopefully, okay, 3 of them will pass din, no? With flying colors. No? Assurance yan kasi si Doc Marvin yan eh. Di ba, Doc Marvs? Okay, so, ang ano doon mahalaga is how we work. Kasi Doc Marvin is always
Depende, ha?
there. Depende yan.
Depende yan, depende, ha?
Sige po, everyone. Thank you so much for spending your holiday with us. And hopefully, the 3 candidates will soon pursue and all of the rest will follow. Okay, with that one, thank you all and have a great day ahead. Good night po.
Bye po. Thank you everyone. Salamat po.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.